Hello. Make sure everything is good. Making sure everything is ready. All right. Load up, please. Make sure the mic is good because nobody was hearing me. Everything is good. Make sure everything is ready. All right. Everything is looking good. Hey, how you doing? This is H1. We're going to be running it back with another episode talking about chess knowledge, chess wisdom, and chess understanding. Now, today we are going to be going over the Catalan. And this game that I got for you is Vichy Anad against Veselin Topalov. And this game was actually played all the way back in 2010. And Veselin Topalov at this time was 2805. And Vichy Anad rating was 2787. So let's get into it right quick. Hey, Cardu, how you doing? Raiden? Hi, Cardu. I'm Bone Cloud is goaded. Okay, cool. So hopefully we can get into the Catalan right quick. Yep, this is a top tier opening, one of my favorites, and I wanted to show this cool game. And then we're just going to be going over the Catalan this whole day. We in here. I know we all in here. Let's get to it. And so, what do you think is the first move that Visha Anna did here? And let me cut on. I forgot to cut on my music. All right. Give me one sec, guys. But tell me, what do y'all think is the first move that happened in this opening? Yeah, Cardu. Yep. D4. D4 is the first move that happened. Let me cut on this music right quick. Get some small lo-fi music going in. Tell me if this is too loud or not. All right, cool. Y'all can hear me well, I'm guessing. And so this is how the game started. It started off with d4, knight to f6, and then after knight to f6, we got the move c4. After c4, e6, knight to f3, and this is usually how grandmasters get into the Catalan opening. And so after the move knight to f3, d5, and then what is the next move to get into the Catalan? What is the next move right quick? What would y'all do here as the white pieces? And this is one of my favorite openings, so don't mess it up. Yes, sir. G3 initiates the Catalan. Now, this opening is especially good. Of course, it's good if you like the fianchetto bishop on the h1 to a diagonal. So that's one of the main diagonals that you want to control in this position once the center opens up. And there are two variations that we can go down. We can either go down bishop to e7, which is the closed Catalan, or we can go into the open Catalan, which is more challenging for the white pieces. Now, if you are the black pieces, I would suggest going for the open Catalan because it is more aggressive to play those lines against white than the closed Catalan, especially if you do not know the specific variations. On Cardu, as a Catalan used, I know some of this. It loses the C pawn though, with almost no chance of capture. Yeah, that's why I thought a C5. I don't use Catalan. Yeah. And so, yeah, with the Catalan, if they capture the pawn on c4, you can capture that, of course, and that's why it's not called a gambit. And even if you do not capture that pawn back and you do, if you prepare this while sacrificing that pawn, you're going to get massive activity in this type of opening. Who else do we got in here? Auntie Blurred, learning here, take notes. Exactly. And so after the move d takes on c4, then we got bishop to g2, and we're just going to keep on developing pieces, fianchettoing that bishop, even though in this opening, if you ever get nervous, you always have this move, queen to a4, checking the king on e8, and attacking the pawn on c4. You can recapture it back, but you will be losing the activity if you just keep continually develop your bishop, castle king side, and etc. And so after the move bishop to g2, bishop to b4, attacking the king on the e1 square, then we have what move next? What do you think white does here next in this position? How many people do we got in here? All right, cool. Everything's going well. All right. What is the next move that white does in this position? And Cardu, you should know. Bishop d2 looks better. Yeah, so bishop d2 is the move that is usually played here and is actually one of the most popular moves that is played. The other moves that could happen is knight to c3, or it could be knight b to d2. But most players play bishop to d2, and it's actually like a huge difference between both of the variations. Like the people who do bishop to d2 is like 1,500 master games, other than knight to c3, which is only like 74 master games that are recorded so far. And so yeah, bishop d2. most popular. After bishop d2 in this position, we have the move a5, which now black is like prompting white to capture that bishop. And then b takes on b4. They're going to have more space on the queen side, and that would open up their rook on on the a8 square. That's why usually white just ignores that bishop and does the move queen to c2. After queen to c2 in this position, and if you have any questions, you can always ask me during the chess lesson, because I'm just going to be stopping when I ask you to figure out the best move for the white pieces, all right? But if you have any questions on like, oh, I didn't get that, or you want me to slow down on certain variations, then, you know, please tell me. Y'all got like 30 minutes, so we can go through this whole game. Or Catalan is a line over queen to c2. Yeah, so queen to c2 is what was played now. It might be different variations that are more popular nowadays than it was before, so Catalan might be a little bit more popular. After queen to c2, bishop takes on d2, which is already a little bit different from what most people play with the black pieces, because they don't like go for the capture. But after capturing on d2, queen takes on d2 in this position, then we have the move c6. After c6, what do you think a Catalan player would do next here? Since Cardu's already got experience, we're already good. We got a good lesson ahead. We got a good lesson ahead of us right now. I don't know why that's in the middle of the screen. Who is that? We got Ron P, C3. Okay, I get what? Wait a minute. We are the white pieces. We are the white pieces. Knight to E5. Oh, dude, you're a Catalan player. I like that. So knight to E5 is usually one of the moves that can happen here. So, and actually knight to E5 is one of the second most popular moves in this position. Knight to C3, but that's not what he played here. Yeah, and Cardu, you are correct. He played the move A4 in this position, stopping the move B5, because black wants to gain more space on the queen side usually, because, you know, white usually has more activity in this position, and black usually try to save that pawn on C4 and garner more space that kind of counteracts the activity that white has. And so after the move A4 in this position, black still played the move B5. After B5, we got the move knight to a3. After knight to a3, putting pressure on that b5 pawn, then we have the move bishop to d7. And usually in this position, if you're playing the Catalan, it's putting a lot of pressure on the black pieces, because usually when they try to keep the pawn, that just gives you more targets to attack, which makes your position a lot easier if you already are a aggressive player and you already know how to take the initiative in a game. And so now after bishop to d7, Cardu, you're right, man, you got it. Knight to e5. And you're probably wondering, why does he like get these moves, right? Because these are the main moves that happens in the Catalan, doing a4 to stop b5, doing knight to e5, attacking that c6 pawn, and since the b pawn is pushed, now we go to knight to e5, and we're attacking that pawn on c6 twice. And so after knight to e5, knight usually goes to d5. There's a few moves that could be done here. And what is the next move from here? What would you say if you're playing the Catalan? And we got a really good audience today. What would you do here in this position? And every move, usually in the Catalan, is a forcing move. So what are forcing moves? Forcing moves is checks, captures, and threats. Checks, captures, and threats. And you should always keep that in mind as you're playing this opening in chess. And so Cardu, you're right again. We got the move e4. We got the move e4, attacking a knight on d5, which usually happens. And after e4, knight to b4 in this position. And then we have the move, give me one sec. We have the move. Actually, I'm gonna let y'all guess next. I'm gonna let y'all guess next. What do you think a white did next in this position? E4 is the line I remember. Yeah, these are the main moves that are played in the Catalan. And one thing is, a white has a lot of space on the queen side, but you actually get control of the center too with your massive development. And yep, the next move is castling king side, getting that king to safety, which is really important because the center is going to blow up eventually. And once the center blow up, you do not want that king in the center. All right, that king should be sitting back in his sofa chair, just chilling, watching cable TV. I know that people don't watch cable TV, just so for all my like modern people, he's probably sitting down, chilling, watching, I don't know, Rick and Morty. I don't care. So after the king castles and king castles, for the black pieces. Then we got the move rook f to d1. After rook f to d1, the bishop moves back to e8. And then what is the main move that happens here? And let me cut this light down just a little bit over here. That mug was bright. What is the main move that happens in this position? What do you think? What would you say? Yes, yes. Dang, man, give everybody else a chance. And if you are here right now, the best way to improve your chess skills is by commenting. Even if it's wrong, you can still learn from it, and that's going to get your brain thinking. The best way to learn chess is to get like a small, if you're not getting a small headache, then you're not studying chess the right way. You should always be trying to like break barriers. If you're not breaking barriers, then yeah, the training is subpar. You gotta have to up it up a little bit. And so we got the move knight to c2. You're trying to trade pieces. I get that. But usually in the Catalan, you want to not trade pieces because your opponent is actually up in material. They're up that one pawn. So the more pieces that you trade, the better your opponent's position is gonna get. If you don't feel pain in your head, you're not trying hard enough. Yeah, exactly. And so this next move, d5 is played. And after the move d5, everything is being attacked. And most people might be thinking, oh, is this just a completely winning position for the white pieces? And I'm going to tell you, no, it's not. And actually, the computer thinks that this is a completely equal position. Crazy enough, the computer actually thinks that this is a completely equal position for white and for black. And yeah, most of these Catalans can be drawn, but visually speaking, I love where the pieces are with the white pieces, and that's why I love playing the Catalan myself, because if you're playing like a beginner or intermediate player, they might feel like, oh snap, there's a lot of pressure on me, when actually they can defend if they defend it very accurately, they can not only get a draw, but maybe a winning position if I mess up. The Catalan is drawn for a lot of the time. Yeah, it is true, but it depends on the player. Like top grandmaster games, they might be drawn, but not usually into like intermediate expert games or club games. So which side would you pick here? Would you pick the white side or the black side in this position? Which side would y'all pick here? Say 1 for the white side, 2 for the black side. 1 for on white, 2 for black. What would y'all say? Also, black should not take here. Yep, and he doesn't. 1 for white, 2 for black. Okay, we got 2 1s. Okay, I got you. It all depends on the position too. It all depends on your chess personality. And so black, next move, he did queen to d6, putting pressure on that knight on e5 since it is undefended. And, you know, black just clarified that. And so we got the next move, knight to g4. After knight to g4 in this position, we have the move queen to c5. And notice how he's dancing around the pawn on d5, not capturing it, keeping the tension on the board. Because, yeah, usually if you capture that d pawn, then there's some tactic right around there. Like, for example, if c takes on d5, that pawn on b5 is pretty much open to grab. Or if this diagonal opens with this bishop on g2, and I'm just like saying ideas and like getting your imagination going. If this diagonal opens, this bishop will be hitting that rook on the a8 square. And so there are a lot of dangers that can happen in this opening. And yes, it is technically the yellow pieces and the brown pieces, but I've been teaching chess for a while, over a decade to be exact. And usually when I'm teaching on like a real board, it's white and black pieces. And so that's why I say white and black. Nothing, I'm not just trying to, that's just what I'm used to as a teacher for the decade. It's already in muscle memory. I'm not going to change how I say the colors. I don't remember yellow being an option. Yeah, it's nothing too personal. After queen to c5, we got the move knight to e3 in this position, just keeping the pieces centralized. And after knight to e3, we got the move knight b to a6 because black needs to keep on developing pieces. If they do not develop pieces and keep on like doing pawn moves or not doing purposeful moves, white can actually take advantage very quickly. And it can be surprising sometimes, especially if you're playing this opening. And so after knight b to a6, we got the move, finally, d takes on c6. After d takes on c6, b takes on a4. What do you think white did next in this position? What do you think? What would you do? What would you do in this position if you used the white pieces? Okay. What do we got here? Yellow. I don't keep it up. The good work. Unfortunately, I have to go. Man, see you later, Benjamin. See you later, Benjamin. Hey, next time. E5. Knight takes on C4. Uh, so yeah, actually, which knight? So you're saying knight E takes on C4? Yep, so he did knight A takes on C4 because you're getting a knight off the edge of the board, and now this rook is coming alive on the A1 square, and we didn't even have to move it. And that was like the main purpose of doing A4, and since your opponent did B5, if you remember like when the stream happened, yeah, with this capture, that brought the rook alive on the A1 square. And so after the move, knight A takes on C4, we got bishop takes on C6, which is still pretty much an equal game. And after bishop takes on C6, we got the move rook A to C1. And so he was like, oh snap, this rook on A1 needs to be on C1 because it's doing a lot more work on that file, and especially putting your rook on the same file as your opponent's queen on C5. And technically speaking, black is still up in material, right? Black is still up one pawn. But when you know strategy, usually double pawns aren't really counted on the chess engine as two pawns. It's usually counted as one pawn since they're literally stepping over each other. So, and then plus two, they're big weaknesses. They could be attacked and not defended by other pawns, which it is a pain to defend. It is definitely a pain to defend in certain a type of cramped losing positions that you have to finesse back to like exchange pieces and things of that nature. And so after the move rook A to C1, we got the move H6 that is played by our opponent, and then we got the move knight to D6, attacking the queen on the C5 square. And so after knight to D6, brought the queen back to A7. After queen to A7, what do you think white did next here in this position? What would you say? What do you think white did next in this position? There's a lot of moves that could be done here. And usually when you're playing a Catalan, everything is pretty sporadic, right? And you have to do your own combinations. You got to think about it. There's different ways that you can go. So a lot of people, okay, so you're saying rook to C4. All right, knight E to C4. Okay, I get that. And usually, since the Catalan, you're controlling the center, you can attack either, or decide to attack either on the queen side or on the king side. It's your choice. And that is kind of like a big hint that I just gave you there. So it's not rook to C4. It's not a knight E to C4. And yep, Cardu, you are correct. Again, man, you're on the road. Knight to G4. And like I said before, when we're attacking the castle king, which could happen in this game, I don't know. When you're attacking the castle king, there are two ways to attack a castle king. It's with a piece attack or a pawn storm. It's with a piece attack or pawn storm. Now, pawn storm is pretty simple. You just push the pawns up, make some weaknesses, and then target those weaknesses with your pieces behind the pawns. Now, a piece attack usually starts with a sacrifice on either one of these, like, pawns that are defending the king on G8. It could be a sacrifice on either H6, which could happen exactly now. You know, if there are concrete moves that leads up into a winning position, or it could be certain sacrifices that could be set up with taking the F7 pawn, G7 pawn, etc. And those are the two type of ways that you can attack a castle king. It's either with a piece attack or a pawn storm. And so after knight to G4 in this position, we have to move rook A to D8. Pinning the knight to our queen on D2. We got to remember all the tactics that is happening around the board. We cannot have tunnel vision. If we have tunnel vision, then we could be missing our opponent's forcing moves when we should be keeping track of our opponent's forcing moves and our forcing moves, all right? Our opponent's first though. Every move that happens, you should be thinking about your opponent's plan first, their threat first, and to make sure that their plan is dumb and that we can just continue with our own ideas over the chessboard. And so after rook A to D8, what happens next here? Bad word. When I put a G4 together, it won't send. Oh, that's weird. Sack the knight. Yeah, so knight to F6 would be sack of the knight. That is true because you want G takes on F6 and then queen takes on h6. But you do know, like, if knight f6 happens, the king could just move over to like h8. That could happen. And so that's why the next move is, you're exactly right, knight takes on h6. Knight takes on h6. This kind of forces your opponent to capture the knight back, since they're losing a pawn, instead of doing knight to f6 where you're just placing a knight pretty much on a bland square, right? They're not forced to capture that knight. And they're like a little bit more prompted to capture the knight with capturing a pawn back. And like I said before, that a4 and a5 pawn isn't really treated as two pawns, since they're stepping over each other, and the quality of those pawns are really silly over the chessboard right now. Like, we can go over there and capture those pawns anytime that we want to. And so after g takes on h6 in this position, then we have the simple queen takes on h6. And keep on trying, keep on going, keep on improving in chess. I'm never going to like bully you or like say, oh, that's a stupid move. No question is really silly, especially if you're beginning in chess. Now, if you have 5 years playing chess competitively and you're saying silly moves like, how does the knight move? Then I'm like, come on, you must be trolling. But if you're just saying, if you're really trying and you're saying, okay, maybe this move, and then I tell you, well, that's not right because this can happen, then that could be helpful for the next time that you comment and be like, okay, let me just make sure that I'm not doing really silly moves where they can be captured by another piece, especially if you're a beginner. And so after queen takes on h6 in this position, we have the move f6, and they're trying to defend, especially opening up this queen on this 7th rank so that there's no checkmates. And so after the move f6 in this position, what do you think white did next? Honestly, lost 100 rating points today. Shaking my head. Look, see, it's fine. Everybody loses rating points. Just as long as you like stop the, can I say that word on Twitch? As long as you stop the bleeding, right? In chess, of course, as long as you stop the losses from happening and you take a break and do chess puzzles, then you can get that rating right back up. Just don't keep on losing. Don't keep on losing. Yeah, you play e5. Break the defense of the two center pawns. And so after e5 in this position, bishop takes on g2. And then after the move bishop takes on g2, we have what next? What was the main purpose of trading those bishops? You can say that. Good Lord, censorship is going too far. I'm just making sure. I'm new to Twitch, and I know that Twitch is, I've been hearing some stuff around the block that Twitch is a little bit more sensitive. So yeah, Twitch isn't as strict from my knowledge about those words. Okay, I'm just making sure. Like, I got banned on TikTok like not too long ago. Not too long ago for saying an assortment of words. After bishop takes on g6, we got e takes on f6, pretty much not caring about the bishop that was taken on the g2 square. And this is completely busted for the black pieces. This was actually busted when knight took on h6. And after e takes on f6, rook takes the knight on d6, because your opponent, usually when the opponent is getting attacked relentlessly, they want to like give those pieces back. They're like, hey, have this, you know, just stop attacking me, please, help me. Just like that Kevin Hart stand up. But after rook takes on d6 in this position, we have what next? What would you do? Good that you do your due diligence. Yeah, I tried to tasteless avocado. Yo, black is screwed in this position. And do you just see how white pieces were just like in position to attack the king without, like, if you're not thinking about it, then you wouldn't have been like able to see that sacrifice. But once you think about all the combinations that could happen, especially with the knight sacrificing itself on h6, then you're like, cool. I got a cool little attack here, and everything works out for me. Rook takes the rook. Yep, tasteless avocado. You are correct. And lessons in comedy. Yeah, I try to be entertaining as much as possible while teaching chess, more than most people. And so after rook takes on d6, not even caring about that bishop on g2, then now the opponent tries to save that bishop going to e4. After bishop to e4, what do you think happens next? And this game actually ends pretty soon. This game actually ends in like, let's just say 6 to 7 moves. What would you say next here? This man makes life fun. Man, I tried to, Nebbies. And hey, I remember you from the Discord, man. A knight to g5, checking the king. Okay, that could happen, but just remember, right? There's not really a clear, concrete checkmate along the lines here. There's not really a clear, concrete checkmate that can happen, especially with this queen covering the 7th rank. So we kind of have to like punish our opponent just a little bit, not do too much. Just slowly make our position a little bit better until our opponent breaks or like give us a concrete checkmate that we can do. Rook takes pawn. Yep, tasteless avocado. You are correct. Yeah, apply pressure. Right. I was gonna say like another word, but you know, rook takes on e6. After rook takes on e6 in this position, we have the move knight to d3. After knight to d3, attacking a rook on c1, then we have the slow move rook to c2, just making sure that remember, when you're winning in a position, you have to make sure that like you're staying alert, because when your opponent is losing, they're going to be the most alert. Just like how an animal, like an injured animal, would be like kind of scared to be around humans, or if you try to touch that animal, they're going to be like kind of hesitant for you to touch them. That's exactly how your opponent is feeling when they're losing badly, all right? So they're trying to seek out like an opportunity for them to come back. And that's why grandmasters are very diligent when it comes to them finishing off games. Hey, Sir Francis, how you doing? I was gonna say torture the opponent in Minecraft, of course. That's the word that I was gonna say. And you got to do that sometimes. You got to apply the pressure in chess just to make sure that everything is correct and make sure that none of the forcing moves is going to have you losing in this position. And so after the move rook to c2, stopping queen takes on f2, which if you're not seeing that, then that could happen. Now your opponent's trying to do a queen trade, queen to h7 in this position. And after queen to h7, what move is best here for the white pieces? How many chess puzzles should I do per day? I'm trying to improve as a beginner. You should do as many as you can. I will start with 5 a day and then do as much, especially as a beginner. It's crucial for you to do as many puzzles as possible, because what you're doing is gaining patterns, and you want to gain as many patterns as possible when you're playing chess, because the stronger opponents know more algorithms and more patterns than you do. So yeah. Nice to find your stream. I've seen your YouTube shorts. Hey man, nice for you to be here. I've been saying this move for a while. Oh, my bad, man. Push the rook. Sir Francis, you are correct. It's got to work eventually. Yeah, f7. F7 is the move that works in this position, because after f7, his opponent took the pawn on f7 with the queen. After pawn takes on f7, what do you do next here? What do you do next here? And queen g5 isn't it. You got to be hesitant. Remember the chess principle. The threat is better than the execution. The threat is better than the execution. So just hold that check. Just hold that thought. Overthought that, not gonna lie. Hey, H1 Chess, sorry, didn't realize you went live. I know Shadow Mysterious is a little bit earlier, but I want to do it this early to catch like people who is like kind of going to sleep, but kind of not. You know, if you want to sleep through me talking in my voice, you like my voice, then that's cool too. Bishop and queen could take, rook takes on e4, g6. Those are all really good moves. I get that. Rook takes on e4, 1 sec, let me check it out. Queen g5. Man, no, he did the move rook takes on e4. And I'm not even saying that queen g5 isn't the best move. Queen g5 actually still wins, Kurdu, so you don't even have to say it anymore. But rook takes on e4 is a lot more powerful, because you're not threatening queen g5, but you're threatening a rook g4. Rook g4, you're gonna eventually take the queen in the next few moves or get checkmate. And so after rook takes on e4, the queen moves to f5, which was a big blunder. And this next move actually made the opponent resign. This next move actually made the opponent resign here. That call out legit fell asleep on YouTube last night. What was that, auntie? Yeah, I get that. Wait, no 2 moves ago, queen g5 would have worked. It would have been better than f7, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're both winning moves. I don't think one is better than the other. Even my computer was saying it was like plus 59 for the black pieces. Doompool, thank you for the follow. And Ills Poak, thank you for the follow too. Yeah. And so the last move, Cardu, you are correct. A rook to e7. And after rook to e7, the opponent resign. Because black is going to have to defend two things. First of all, going to have to defend queen going to queen going to g7. And even if queen went to f6, white still has to checkmate queen to h7. And even if this happened, what do you think white should do next if rook to f7 happened? What do y'all think white should do next after rook to f7? What would you say here? Nicely done. Yeah, Cardu was going ham. Yeah, Ron P. Yep. Rook to c8. And I'm just going to guess that you knew that the queen could take on c8, but this is like the best move of the position. So after queen to c8, queen takes on c8. I'm going to actually challenge you. What happens? What is the follow-up after queen takes on c8? What is the follow-up? Because this forces mate in a certain amount of moves if queen takes on c8. I'm looking at the chat right now. I'm looking to see if y'all going to give me some more moves. I'm looking at the time too because I have to like start streaming on Twitch, not Twitch, on TikTok pretty soon. Yeah, Sir Francis and Shadow Mysterious, you are correct. Queen g6, and after queen g6, this is eventually going to lead to checkmate. All right, king goes to f8, queen takes on f7, king goes to h8. That rook is still lost, and so yeah, black is just losing, just busted, and that's why he decided to resign. Pin the rook with the queen. Okay, so queen g5 was technically better than f7. Why do you care, Cardu? And these are Grandmaster games. Don't look at the computer, man. Let me do that job. No, I didn't see the queen. It's okay. Just lie to everybody. You saw the queen, man. You saw the queen, Ron. Resting Forest. I think there are some ways you could stream simultaneously on YouTube and Twitch at least. Yeah, there is, but I don't got the equipment for that. I only got one phone, and I'm just gonna do every stream like this. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't, nobody, like, we're pretty simple right now. For right now, it's good. We got like 3 forms of content for everybody. How could they miss mate in 16? Shaking my head. All right, cool. So this was a good stream. I appreciate everybody that is here right now. If you like the stream, please follow for you to be notified about my next stream. I am going to be streaming. I'm going to be going to TikTok to stream like another Catalan game. So if y'all want to see me there, you can. Keep on fighting till the end, staying focused in chess and also in real life too. And then I'll see you soon. Okay, peace.